So what is one of the simple strategy that you can use in the stock market to reap some really explosive gains? Well, this strategy is what I call breakout trading. I would say that this is one of the very effective strategies, a little bit more aggressive, but if you get it at the right time, at the right stock, with the right conditions and the right criteria, that is where you can really write some really strong gains of more than 10, 20%, 30% ROI as well. Hey guys, Joey here, top tier advisor, trader in Philip Securities, and in this video, we'll be talking about breakout trading. All right, what exactly is breakout trading? How do you know when to get in? What should you look out for? Whether is it a good breakout, a breakout that can potentially push higher, or maybe even a fake breakout as well? That's exactly what we'll cover, and we will even dive into some case studies as well to see what are some of the stocks whereby they have shown pretty strong breakout trading. All right, whereby they have pushed a little bit higher, and perhaps you could also use this strategy when you're looking at any stocks in the future. All right, so let me go to dive into the whiteboard right now to talk about breakout trading. So breakout trading essentially is where a stock has break above one of those very key levels. So it could be what we call a resistance level if we are talking about an upside breakout, right? So for example, you can see that this red line right over here is what we call a resistance. So a resistance level is where prices have headed to that level, to that price level a couple of times, and sellers just comes back and it push prices down. So this is also what we call a resistance level as well, right? Same thing, we kind of like touch the level, prices comes back down, and selling actually came back, profit taking actually appeared, right? So for breakout trading stocks, what happens is that we could see prices going like this. So it could be what we call an uptrend, and we might see a little bit of a consolidation, and finally, boom, all right, it breaks above this really key resistance level that we have been consolidating below for a couple of months, couple of years, and we have been pretty much seeing selling over there. But finally, that level, that sellers that has been pushing prices down all this while gave way, and buyers came back, took out the entire sellers, pushed prices up, it stays above it, and that is where we are starting to see a rally. So that's pretty much what we call a breakout trading above a key resistance level, whereby more upside can actually continue. All right, so this is what we call a consolidation as well. Just to sidetrack and see that we are pretty much moving what we call sideways. All right, sideways in that sense, and we break out and then we can push a little bit higher and maybe even a bit higher, and then we might start to move a bit sideways and consolidate again. So that's what we call a healthy uptrend as well. And another type of breakout trading would be one whereby you can see that it doesn't really consolidate, it forms what we call higher lows, right? So in this case, you can see the price moving up and down right over here, and same thing, we are still capped below this resistance line, this red line right over here, whereby it just couldn't get above it for a couple of months, and finally one day, pam, all right, it broke this resistance level, right? Buyers just came back and took out the entire sellers there, and that's where what we call a breakout, we could see more upside. So if you're asking me like which would be a better breakout, then I would say the one on the right over here would be better, because in this case, this is quite clearly a very strong uptrend. Right? Each time it trades lower, buyers actually comes back up and push prices higher, and then we went down again, but buyers came back and defend the prices, and it doesn't even allow it to dip more and push prices back to that same resistance level. So number two would be slightly a bit more bullish if this is a breakout compared to number one, but doesn't mean that number one is not good as well. I mean, it could be a pretty good long consolidation, and finally we break that level. That's what could happen. So in a breakout move, what happens is that we want to see pretty strong volume as well, right? So one of the things we look out for in a breakout move, in order not to see a fake breakout. So fake breakout means like, you break out, it goes for like 1-2 days, and then it starts coming back down below this red line. That would be what we call a fake breakout. So how do we know if the big breakout is a genuine one, whereby we could really see some aggressive moves up? Well, we can look at the volume as well. So we see like more than 2 or 3 times volume, all right, above average volume. That can be a good indication whereby when prices are moving up on rising or increasing volume, all right, on a breakout especially, all right, that could be a sign of a pretty good breakout move whereby there could be more upside. And the next thing we could look out for would be whether a stock is actually in an uptrend when it does actually break out. So we can look at things like some of the trend indicators, the moving averages. So that would be for another video, but we want to be probably in the same direction as the trend, as the same direction as the breakout move. Does it make sense? So if it breaks out higher, there's a potential for it to move higher, but we want the trend to be up as well, so that it kind of like aligns with the trend rather than it breaks out and it's actually a downtrend. So you are like going against the trend. That can happen as well. All right, we might push out a little bit, and sellers might come back and push it all the way back down again because it can be a downtrend as well. Does it make sense? So we try to be along or align with the trend for that particular breakout move direction. So the left one will be number 1 right over here. So as I mentioned, number 2 will be slightly more bullish because it is a very firm uptrend. All right, and essentially we form what we call higher lows. This is what we call a channel support line connecting the lows, forming higher lows. So that's a good thing. All right. So the next thing about a breakout strategy would be when we were to break a very key resistance level right over here. Well, if that happens, that's good, especially if that level has been holding for many months and many years. All right, and finally, if we were to break this resistance would now be what we call a new support level. So that would be like a support level, all right, whereby if we do stay above this new resistance turn support, then that would be a good thing, because now prices are not only coming back down below that red line, but it's actually gone higher and stayed above at a higher phase, at a higher consolidation support level. So it could push higher, it might stay around the same, or it might go even higher to consolidate and move sideways. But as long as we stay above this new support level, all right, that would be a good thing. That would give much more weight to that particular breakout move to the upside. Same thing over here. When we were to break above this resistance, it will be now what we call a new, new support level, whereby when prices will stay above, we are pretty much in a very good move upwards, all right, and as long as we stay above, it doesn't come back down again. If it comes back down, then not so good. We are pretty much back to the same original consolidation phase. So I've pretty much talked about a breakout move to the upwards direction in terms of an upside breakout above a key resistance level for more upside. But this can happen also the other way around, whereby it breaks a very key support level whereby we have been holding for like many months, and finally that support gave way, sellers just came in and sell down and broke the support. Especially in a downtrend, that's where we can see massive moves down. You want to be careful if you're just holding on to the stock like blindly. All right, you want to have some stop loss to get out, or maybe reduce some exposure as well, especially if we break down a key support level. All right, so let's just dive into some case studies right now as to where we could potentially see what we call a breakout move, and what happened after the breakout move. What are some of the targets that we can potentially hit to after the breakout move as well. So guys, if you found some value so far in what I've shared in the whiteboard, go ahead to give me a like and smash the subscribe button as well, as that will really help out the channel and you will not miss out on any videos like this. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the case study. So let's take a look at this stock called Meta Platform, stock code META, whereby we have seen a couple of breakout moves and started to push a little bit higher since the beginning of 2023. All right, so this is Meta. You can see that since the beginning of the year, we have been trading below this very critical 150 resistance level. So 150, 155 was pretty much a support level that you can see when we broke down. So remember, in terms of the downside movement, whereby we were to break a key support level in a downtrend, right, that's where we could potentially hit lower as well. And since July last, you can see that it was pretty much a downtrend for Meta Platforms right over here, and we were trading just above this 150 support a couple of times. Let me just put this as a support green color. So we like rebounded, but we broke down the 155 to 150 support, and we sold all the way down to about $80. So that's what we call a downside breakdown, all right, in a downtrend, whereby it can really be quite bearish, all right. And what happens was we form a little bit of a bottom, all right, went back up. And as I mentioned, right, this resistance will turn support in an upside breakout. And what about a downside breakdown? Well, this support level would turn into what we call a resistance level. So let me just turn it back to red color. All right, and you can see that we actually stage what we call a breakout above this support turn resistance over here. So that would be a good thing, because we kind of like gap up, all right, consolidated above it and started to push a little bit higher. So from a downside break of this support, we went down, we came back up, we saw a bit of a reversal or some signs of the trend turning up as well. So I'm not talking too much about the trend, but essentially we want to look for where we have broken some really key resistance level, especially if the trend is up. All right, we broke a resistance and it actually start to push even higher. So that was a bit of a consolidation right over here for about a month. Same thing, pump. I think we broke this resistance maybe about $200, so we can go to draw another resistance right here. So it's like up and down for about a month. And finally, we broke above the 200, consolidated a little bit, pump. All right, we broke the 230. All right, 230. You can see right over here, that was another resistance level as well. All right, last year, same thing. We broke this resistance level, stayed above it, and it started to push even higher. Does it make sense? All right, so that is what we call an upside breakout, especially if we have tested the resistance level a couple of times, we came back down, or it kind of like matches with the previous resistance, or it was actually a previous support that we have broken down from, and now it is a resistance level. Well, then we give a bit more weight to that price level in terms of it being a resistance that we actually attempt to break through. All right, started to push a little bit higher, and we saw another consolidation. So normally in an uptrend, what we're going to see is that we're going to see some sideways movement, because that is a good thing, because as we consolidate, we actually find a higher support. So let me go to draw this line right here. This is what we call a support level. As you can see, we managed to touch a couple of times, about 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. All right, we're holding above it as well. That would be a 280 level for Meta platforms, and we've rebounded from there. So as long as we stay above this new support level, so it was a resistance, same thing, we break above it, it would now be a support level, and as long as we stay above this support level, that would be a good thing in terms of more upside actually happening. So you can see that we stayed above this support level, started to push a bit higher, and let's see if there could actually be a breakout move to push even higher after this sideways or 3 to 4 months consolidation. So we can draw another resistance level right over here at about $350. Look at this red line I've drawn. You can see that it was pretty much a support level in 2021. You can see we were holding above it, and when we broke down, you can see when we broke down this 350 support level, that was where we actually traded below it for a couple of months, and we actually went back up to retest this support turn resistance. So this is something like a downside breakdown when the trend started to turn down in 2022. All right, so tested, came back down, tested, came back down again. So about 1, 2, 3, 4 times we tested that resistance, and we just couldn't get above it, and it actually sold lower and lower as it went from an uptrend to a downtrend. So that was for Meta platform. So right now, this resistance we can actually extrapolate all the way to now, and it is also where potentially we might see some selling coming back again. So for example, Meta platform is now at about $341. So it's about 340 something, 45, 46, 42, anything near 350. That is where some selling or some profit taking can come back again. All right, so that's how we can potentially project in terms of the near-term target, or where we can potentially head to before some selling can come back. And that's where you can also choose to lock in some profits as well, right? So the 350 level will be a resistance level that I've drawn, and the next one will be maybe somewhere around that $380 right over here, whereby it is the next resistance level, pretty much the high we've seen in 2021 before the sell down in Meta platforms. All right, so let's see if we can potentially stage what we call a breakout move. So, and how would that happen? Well, we might actually consolidate, as I say, as we head towards this level. So right now you can see we were actually consolidating here, swing up, swing down, swing up, swing down, and we are actually breaking above this recent high, So let me go ahead to draw what we call another resistance level. All right, that is over the past 4 or 5 months. Let me just draw it for you right here. So you can see, right, over the past few months since July, all right, we actually formed a bit of a resistance. We touched, we came back down. Same thing, we touched and we came back down as well. So about 2 times we touched and came back down. So that would be what we call a bit of a resistance, even though it has touched like 2 times. So finally, over the past 1-2 weeks, we managed to break above this resistance level, and it seems like we're still staying above this resistance, which is about the $330. So there could be some, upside in the short term, maybe all the way to 350. We might consolidate a little bit. It might go something like this, up and down. As long as we stay above the 330 is okay. Eventually we have to break this 350, great, we can hit to the next higher resistance level. Yeah, so that's pretty much what we call a breakout trading strategy in a nutshell, whereby we were to consolidate, we face a little bit of a resistance, it could be 2 or 3 times we touch it and come back down, but finally we break that key level, and that's where more upside can actually start, right? So that's what we call a breakout trading strategy. And of course, as I mentioned, right, we want to kind of like be in the same direction as the trend in terms of an upside breakout. So for Meta platform, we have been in what we call an uptrend just by looking at the longer term moving average, whereby the 100 days moving average has gone above the 200 days moving average. So that is a sign of an uptrend. Plus, if we were to break that key level, right, whereby we have tested many times, or as I mentioned, it could be a previous support level as well, very meaningful one, or meaningful price level, we give a bit more weight to that breakout move. All right, so that is pretty much a breakout trading strategy in a nutshell. So there we have it, guys. I've covered this breakout strategy, all right, whereby you can also use in the stock market to spot some really explosive moves, like the case study that I've shown you as well. All right, so you can go ahead to look at where a certain price level has been resisting. We have been capped below it for many months, and finally we break through. And look at the volume as well. So I've not talked about that, but when you look at the volume, it's pretty strong volume. That are all signs of a very genuine and successful breakout. Alright, so if you want to find out a little bit more on the entire strategy and how this breakout trading actually fits in together with the trend, right? I have this strategy called One Good Trend, whereby you can learn a little bit more. Alright, I'll just put the link below. You can download one of our free trend trading report, alright, and I'll share with you a little bit more on this strategy. And in the future, whereby if we have any new webinars or like a web class, you can attend to learn a little bit more as well. So let me just quickly place the link below this video, click on it, download this free trading report whereby I share with you the entire One Good Trend strategy and how breakout trading actually fits inside as well. Alright, so Joey here. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to see you in the next video, and make sure guys you hit the subscribe button, hit the like as well, so that you will not miss out on any videos like this. Thank you so much.